Hey, everyone. I am going to give everybody a couple of minutes to get on here tonight, but I am excited to see you guys. I'm excited for you guys to be on. It is oh Jesus. See, y'all see, even my Apple, you see how it did that? It's letting you know that it's time. It's time. Like it's ready. It likes it. I like it. Let's get it done. Welcome to our newest edition of Affirmation Fridays. I am Allison. I am one of the core team members. And I love the Lord. I love reading. I love books. And food is my love language. And I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. When you come in the room, like let me know that you're here. Say hey. Please don't be weird. Say hey. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your day is. I want to hear from you guys. I want to see what's going on. I would love for us to have an interactive moment going on. Hey, everyone. Ah, I don't know. Every time I hop on here, I just be ready. I be ready for it. I come ready. Um, yeah, we got some things to talk about tonight. And while I'm giving the Saints a moment to hop on, I'm going to run through our announcements real quick so that you guys know what's going on because we told y'all what was going on and then we can be on one accord and get right together, right? So consider these your church announcements, all right? Forms. We have forms, guys. We want to celebrate you. We want to know what's going on in your life. We want to know what your accomplishments are. Child, we want to know when your birthday is so we can tell you happy birthday. But we can't do any of that unless you guys fill out our forms. So if you go into our group, which plug for the group, if you're not in the group, I don't know what's going on. Your PP, I see you. If you're not in our group, just mosey on over to the group, the Unfiltered Collective, and put in a form. See, I told you. Apple is like, I like it because you like it. Mosey on over to our form section, fill out our celebration form so that we can help you or we can celebrate with you everything that is going on in your life because life be lifing and we all need to be here to encourage each other. Am I right or am I right? Um, are you looking to be healed? Real talk. Are you looking for a breakthrough? Are you looking for the Lord to do something magnificent in your life? Have you come across maybe needing some inner deliverance, right? We offer that here. The core team offers inner deliverance and healing. So please, if it's something that you think that you are looking for, if the Lord has pressed it upon your heart to be like, it's time to do something different and it's time to make some changes, then go fill out our deliverance form. We do it once a quarter and we are looking forward to how we can partner with you to thrust you forward, to push you back, to push some things off of you, and to just see the new thing that the Lord is doing. Okay. So if that's you, fill out our deliverance form. If you just want us to know all the good things that's happening, fill out the celebration form. And it's also the birthday form. We have some events coming up soon, right? This is the call for volunteers, baby. Like if that's you, if you're like I just want to know how I can impact you guys. I just want to know how I can support. I just want to know how I can show up and volunteering is your thing. We have a volunteer form. The volunteer form helps us out in a couple of different ways. I'm not going to get into all the ways it's going to help us out, but if you're looking to support us in a different manner, in a more involved manner, go check out our volunteer form and let us know what you can do, baby. Okay? Because we here for the volunteers. We're here for the teamwork. We're here for the community. Ah, PP, I see you. I be trying. I be trying to keep up with you, PP, because you be coming on here looking like real fine. And I just be like, oh, y'all gonna get these glasses today in the name of Jesus. All right. Our two by two is still going strong. Real talk. What is our two by two? It's where we have you invite two, and they invite two, and they invite two, and they invite two. I'm pretty sure you get the concept at this point. We are trying to grow our community. We want everybody to get this good worthy work. We want everyone to be able to walk with us and catch this good stuff that we be doing here. But we can't do that unless the saints come. So invite your friends, invite your family, invite your aunties, invite your cousins, invite the folks, okay? so that we can grow our community, we can grow what the Lord has impacted us with, and we can continue to show how strong the Lord's community is, right? Okay. Do you have a favorite affirmation? Is it, one of the many ones? See, PP like autumn, and that's how I feel too. Like all of these ones just be hitting, right? But anyways, do you have an affirmation that, like, when you think about Affirmation Friday, you hope and you pray that we say your affirmation, even though we said it earlier this year and we've said it a few times? It's just like when you think about affirmations, that's the one. Or when you think about how the Lord has blessed your life, this is the affirmation that we did that comes to your mind. Is that you? It's most of us on here. But we're inviting you, especially you, to submit a 30 to 60-second testimony talking about your favorite affirmation, how it has impacted you, how it has impacted your life, what goodness has come from it. Y'all, I'm gonna have to keep my hands down tonight, or we just gonna get thumbs all night. Yeah, pray for me, y'all. Saints, be praying. But we want to know how the affirmation impacted you. We want to know, right? And so we want you to submit a 30 to 60-second video word testimony, just so that we know what's happening in our community. Also, if you haven't heard, right? If you've been living under a rock, or this is your first time here and you didn't know, we have a devotional and a workbook. Okay, a devotional that you can read and a workbook to accompany it. Baby, it's available now, right? Get your copy, get your copy, get your copy, so that you can do this great work even on a Tuesday or on a Saturday or in between waiting for the next affirmation. Come and get this, come and get this workbook and this devotional. It's life-changing, it's spiritually impacting, it's a lot of good work in a book. And when I say, like, the way it's gonna get you together, the way it's gonna get you together. Okay? Let it get you together. Real talk. Let it get you together. All right. You can get it at the link tree that is available at the top of our page, but it's linktree/Queendry Creative. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of your church announcements. Okay. Those are your announcements for today. Candace, I can't wait till you get yours either, because I just know it's gonna be. I know it's gonna help. Thank you, PP, for putting the link in the comments. Thank you. All right, guys, we got through the church announcements. I got through my introduction. Right. Let's get into this affirmation. All right. This affirmation. Right. If y'all know what I'm talking about, just put the affirmation in the comments. Right. Because this affirmation took me for a roller coaster. And most of the affirmations mostly do. But this one was a very different roller coaster. And it led to a very different way of me understanding this affirmation, which is going to lead to a very different way of me teaching said affirmation tonight. All right. If you didn't know, the affirmation for the week that we just passed is I am well loved, and that love is enough. I am well loved, and that love is enough. All right. Where did this affirmation come from? I don't know. But when I say the person who created this affirmation, they just knew. Like, they knew it was going to hit me in the forehead when we were going to have this conversation tonight. That's my opinion. It may not be fact, but it's my opinion, and it's valid in my eyes right now. So let's get started. Let's get started on it. All right. I am well loved, and that love is enough. So, as I had alluded to in the Monday post, if you didn't see it, we have a duality of understanding, right? We understand how we show up for love, how love shows up for us, but we also understand a worldly understanding of how the world wants us to perceive and understand love. And so the Lord had me go way back, like that Blackstreet song says, way back in time. We're not gonna sing the rest of the song though. He had me go back in time to think about how love was for me when I was younger, how love is for me now, and how love was for me like in my 20s, which was an interesting time for me, right? So I had familiarly, I had a very different understanding of love, right? I had a very different understanding of what love meant, how love presented itself, and how I was supposed to give love. I had no understanding of how to receive love, right? I knew that I could give love by showing effort, by getting gifts, by being attentive, by listening. I knew that people would give me love in a similar manner, right? They would get me physical stuff. They would have conversations with me to tell me how proud they were of me. But I did not know how to receive love, right? The other half of this, because we're gonna be real honest tonight, y'all. We're gonna be real honest tonight. The other half of this is that I also understood love a um as a use of words that may not have been healthy or conducive for me at that time. I very much so understood that my family or those around me would say things to me to hurt me, but it was not to kill me, it was to make me stronger, right? And so, even though the presentation may not have been great, I had an understanding early on that the words that were said were to help me and not hurt me, even if they sounded like words that were supposed to hurt me. And that was love, right? And so that was me growing up. I saw love in some cases as physical arguments and fights. I saw love as verbal talk downs and some toxic abusive behavior. I've also seen the other gamut of love where we're looking at like a heavy restoration or reconciliation. Um, and it's like we forgive each other, but we're not truly forgiving because the next time this comes up, I'm going to throw it in your face. And for a long time, that's how I saw love. So me growing up and being a teenager and having this understanding of love, when I started to look for love outside of my family, that's what I gravitated to. I didn't gravitate towards the person who was kind and generous and nice. I gravitated towards the person who was kind and generous and nice, but may also call you stupid. Kind, generous, and nice, but may also push you, right? What also didn't help at that time was when I was growing up, it was that, oh, boys, when they love you or they like you, they push you and like they put their hands on you and they may kick you because they don't know how to tell you that they like you. And so all of this has now played a part in the way I view love. And so although people growing up didn't realize the level of trauma that could cause somebody, when you get into your teenage years and your adult years, and what you've heard and internalized is love could be physically hitting me, physically kicking me, because little boys can do it, so adults probably can do it. It's putting me down. It's calling me names that are not the name that the Lord gave me. It could also be objectifying my body. These are the things that I saw as love. And even though, your girl had wisdom back in the day, right? But the wisdom wasn't enough when the understanding of love that came with it was that people was gonna put their hands on you and that's how they show you that they love you. Girl, like that is what I knew. And that is my understanding. Well, it was at least. And so the Lord took me back to like even the first person that I liked and I dated. I remember having conversations with them about how they liked me, but they didn't like me as much as they liked this other person. And so I would be like the side chick, and I would be okay with this. Praise the Lord for deliverance, of course. But like, I was okay with this because in my mind, couples argue, couples, do things to each other that are not nice. They have targeted toxic behavior, but they're going to get back together and they're going to make it work and everything is going to come together in this new form and manner, right? So you can imagine how my 20s was when I was a grown adult and I was out here just trying to understand even just small nuances of, oh, does he like me or does he like my body? Which are two different things. Oh, does he think I'm interesting or is he just trying to see what he can get out of me? It very much so took a very different turn for me. And a lot of the beginning of my 20s was me in a very much so toxic relationship, trying to figure out if this was it. And I remember being in my 20s thinking, this is the man that the Lord has given me, not realizing that this was actually the man was that was trying to spiritually kill me. And I didn't have a foundational concept of what love was in a healthy context. And then we add intimacy into this. And I have now this very much so misconstrued concept of love, which is not only now a mental concept and my endorphins are going and I'm feeling a certain type of way. I now have this physical concept of love, which was not the way that the Lord wanted it to be, outside of what the Lord had for me. And like I grew up in church, so I know what it is. But at the same time, what I had been shown all my life had never really been corrected, and it had never been a conversation on it really to correct my understanding or my misunderstanding, for this case, of love in situations. And so it took me a very long time to break out of that. It took me a very long time to break out of that cycle. And even into like my late 20s, the conversation wasn't like, oh, this is really bad. The conversation was when I got into a new relationship, oh, he doesn't do X, Y, and Z. So because he doesn't hit, choke, kick me, it must be love. And it took me a long time, baby, to realize that also wasn't it. And like, praise the Lord, like I can laugh about this stuff now because there's been so much growth and so much cultivating and so much restoration. But in the thick of it, baby, in the thick of it, it was a totally different story. It was a totally different story. And if it had not been for the Lord laying some people in my life and even laying my daughter in my life, I would not have even been able to undo a lot of what I've already been able to undo and start this new process. So now here I am in my 30s, undoing years of lies from others and years of lies from myself. I didn't know at the time, like, that I didn't have to settle for subpar, right? Pippy that. That's that. At least syndrome. Yes. Like child, me and that, if there was a person in the book for the at least syndrome, I'm telling you, my picture used to be there, baby, because I used to at least everything. At least, at least it ain't do this. At least it ain't cost me my life. Like Allison, shut up, real talk. But like, I used to be the at least person. But yes, so I did not know at the time that I did not have to settle for subpar, right? And I did not understand how important I was. I didn't understand how strong my worth was, not only to the people around me, but also to my father, right? And I didn't know me. In the process of me not knowing me, I didn't know the Lord, right? And so for a very long time, I couldn't know the creation because I did not understand and could not process the creator, right? PP, get out my nose. Like, oh my, like, get out my nose. PP, okay, just like we get in there. So here I am last week while I was dealing with some stuff, as you can hear in my throat. Um, Here I am just having regular conversation with my everyday friends, right? The people who I talk to, they call me, they check in on me, and this is regular stuff. I'm not talking about like super extroverted stuff, but like at least once or twice a day, my friends are checking up on me. Let's just be real. And I check up on them. But what was happening was they would check up on me and I'd be like, why is she bothering me? What is going on here? Or it'd be like, hey, we have a meeting coming up. And I'd be like, bro, why we got to do this meeting? Like, I don't understand. Like, come on now. Like, make this make sense to me. And it had been happening for a couple of weeks. And I went to the Lord and I was like, Lord, what is going on with me? Like, is it me? Are you calling me out of this season? Am I in the wrong place? Do you want me to move? Is this you telling me to leave? Because anytime we get annoyed, we always thinking the Lord telling us to leave someplace. But anyways, are you telling me to leave, Lord? Like, is this it? And the Lord literally had to tell me, it's not that. Open your eyes and see what's happening. And I'm like, my eyes are open. You know how we do? Like, my eyes are open, Jesus. What is going on? And the Lord slapped me so hard in the face. And he was like, obviously, it's because they love you. And you're not used to this type of love. And I'm like, wow. What do you mean I'm not used to this type of love? Like, come on now, explain this to me. And the Lord literally had to show me that in my friendships, in my life, the way that people are showing up for me now and the way that I am two part allowing them to show up for me by me being vulnerable and me being open, even though I feel like some days it's ghetto. The way that I am allowing people to show up for me and the way that I am showing up because of that is a different level of love. It's a different understanding of love. And it is a different pour of love. And because this is something that I am not used to, I am not familiar. I was ready to be like, I'm obviously not supposed to be here anymore. I have went past this season of my life. Obviously, I really just need to give my notice. It's fine. And the Lord is like, nah, you just need to accept some new love and you need to come up with some discipline and some boundaries so that you now know what that looks like for you. So this whole time I'm sitting here having this conversation with the Lord, and I'm just like, I'm getting beat up because how am I supposed to know what love looks like if it has never truly been modeled for me in a manner where I see it and it's in front of me? And of course, the Lord alley me because he was like, I've been showing you this. Like, let me take you to this word. Let me rap to you. Let me speak some things in your ear. Okay, real talk. So the Lord started showing me in the Bible the different types of love and the different concepts behind those types of love. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. All right. So that we can all just learn to accept some new love and we can go from there. Okay. So, right. I'm going to give y'all these notes. I got a few. And then after these notes, that's all I got unless the Lord say something else and I'm going to give y'all that. But y'all should know this is just what it's going to be. So, earlier this week, Monday, when I posted the affirmation, I made a snafu. And I feel like I made the snafu But I also feel like it was very much so God allowing me to make it so that I could see something. So when I first wrote the affirmation, I put I am well loved, and that love is good enough, right? Good enough. And some people will be like, well, Allison, I don't understand. Like, what's the difference? Baby, it's a big difference. All right. So the difference is a few things. What is the big difference between good enough and enough? Right? We know that good in itself is an adverb. It is meant to describe something. But depending on the word that you put it in front of, the description that it gives it can be positive and or negative in case. In church, we'll say God is real good, right? Or he's just so good, or he's good, good. And in that case, if you've been to a black church, you know what that means. That means, just translating a little bit, the Lord is the bomb.com. He's our ace boom coon, like he be coming through, right? But in this case, in the way that it was used in this affirmation, good enough by definition meant suitable for your needs, right? Suitable for your needs. And I was just like, when I say it, right? I am well loved, and that love is suitable for my needs. It just doesn't roll off the tongue, right? But when I looked up the word enough, it meant to the required degree or extent, right? To the required degree or extent. So when I take the word good out of it and I say I am well loved, and that love is to the required degree or extent, it means that it surpasses some things that I understand. Because if the love that I have is only like suitable for my needs, but I serve a God whose mind always surpasses mine concerning me, then that means that the love that he has for me, it can't be suitable to me. Like, if it's good enough in my mind, it's subpar at best to what the Lord can do and wants to give me. Okay, like that's just what it is. If it's good enough for me, if it's good enough for what I see, if it's good enough for how I expect things or how I want things done, then it's only a small part of what the Lord actually has for me. Because how I see myself and how the Lord sees me, two totally different things. How the Lord envisions me and how I envision me, two totally different things. And based off of what I see now and what the Lord is doing in my life and in my mind is already blown. And the Lord is like, this is just a sprinkling, baby. So if I perceive that the love that I have right now is just good enough, it's good enough for the season I'm in. It's not going to take me to the next season. It's good enough for the person I am now. It can't grow with me when I go. And it's only good enough for the mentality that I have about myself right now. And that doesn't even equate to what the Lord sees me as. So it could never be good enough. So when I saw the revelation, I was like, oh, it was a snafu, but the Lord needed that snafu to happen, okay? Because the love that He has for us, like we can't just be well loved and it be good enough, right? We can't just be well loved and then say it's good enough. It's contenting for what I need, because what we need changes on an everyday basis, who we are changes on an everyday basis. And when we say that we are well loved and that love is good enough, it locks our love into a place where it is not able to grow and move and do the other things that love is. Because love is not just a verb or an adverb or a word. Love is a powerful thing, and we're going to walk down all the things that the Lord showed me that love is, right? So we can't be well loved and it be good enough. It's just got to be enough, period. Like in my hard times, I have to be well loved, and that's got to be enough. Okay. Why? Like, why should it be enough? I'm so glad y'all asked. I'm just glad y'all asked. It has to be enough because that's what the Lord is giving me, and my Lord never gives me anything lacking. He doesn't give me anything that's lacking. He doesn't give me anything less than what he would want for me. I don't serve a God that came down, came down into human form, suffered, let these folks talk about him, let these folks kill him for him to give me something that is just okay. Like, that's not it. Not the God who likes to create elaborate stories woven from words and situations and tragedies and misunderstandings into this beautiful picture where you become the head and not the tail, you become above and not beneath, you become the lender and not the borrower. Like, it just doesn't compute that we don't get everything. The only time that we don't get everything is when we allow our minds to give an understanding of love that is outside of the will and the understanding of what God sees of love. And I was like, well, what you mean by that, God? And he took me back to, I can't know me if I don't know him. So there has to be a level of reconciliation between ourselves as a person, like ourselves as a person, right? Ourselves as the image bearer of God, and then whose image we bear. Those can't be three different things. It can't. We are, yes, we are a person. Yes, yes, we are, but we are also an image bearer. And yes, we bear the image of God. And because we bear the image of God, that means that everything that we are, everything that we encompass, everything that we do is an image of him. So for us to not know him is to not know ourselves. And then for us to not understand how he loves us is in many ways us not being able to properly love ourselves, to show love, to receive love. The love that we give in some forms becomes tainted because we're giving from a place of struggle and not a place of understanding, or we're receiving love from a place of anger and not a place of surrender. Because in order to receive love, you got to surrender, okay? You got to surrender a bunch of stuff. If you're not out here receiving love and surrendering, baby, let's get to it. Because in order for you to be able to give love or to receive love in the proper manner, we have to understand that there is a level of dying too that has to occur for us to be able to intake what is being brought to us. If we are not able to be vulnerable with our community, they're not able to show up for us in a manner in which we need them to. They can't just show up and you expect them to know everything. And I promise you, I am not preaching to the choir right now. I'm really just talking to Allison, because those who know me well know I used to see it. I used to real quick be like, well, last week I went and I conquered Goliath and I was really struggling, but I figured it out. And this week, guys, we're going to roll together, right? I used to be this person who would be like, well, last week I was in my sleep and, I got attacked by the spirit of Leviathan and I fasted by myself for 4 days. But this week, guys, I'm back and I'm ready. And I never realized, right? I did not realize how me not being able to show up because I'm being attacked or I'm dealing with all of this stuff. I may not physically show it too much, but it's showing in every other process that I do. So now I may not physically have any marks or bruises or anything, but I'm not as focused as I need to be. I am disconnected in conversations. Or I'm giving one worded answers, and my friends looking at me like, did I do something wrong? Is it me? Baby, it's not you, it's Allison. Like, it's Allison. That's it. Just know it's Allison. And so a lot of it ended up showing up in other ways because I thought that me showing love was me not putting my stuff on people. I thought that me showing love was me like dealing with all the stuff because everybody else got stuff to deal with and everybody else got stuff going on. And who am I to put my stuff on them? And it wasn't until later on that the Lord was like, no, you getting beat over the head because you're not using your community. And I'm like, oh. And it took a moment where I literally was not feeling well and I was not going to say anything. I was just going to weather the storm. And I ended up reaching out saying, yeah, I really don't feel good, this, that, and the third. And like in 5 minutes, I knew they were praying because I felt better. And I'm like, oh, that's done. Oh, it's done. Oh, I don't got to do 4 days of this. It's done. The Lord showed me in real time, like community is crucial. And he like you out here thinking that these are just people that you kiki with. Like, no, they will literally, they be cutting demons' heads off in the spirit for you. Okay. Real talk. So we're out here having all of this stuff happen, and we're thinking that love is this convoluted thing, and it's not. And for some of us, we even think that love is confusion because that's what we've been shown our life. That's what has been put into our system for half of our lives. We think that love is somebody not being able to make a decision, or love is being able to not have to do the right thing, because that is what we have been shown. And the Lord is out here trying to interrupt these negative systems and these lies. Mm, okay, don't do that, Chess. These lies that the enemy has told us, and the way that we have been perverted in love because of everything around us. And the Lord's like, I never called you to that. I never called you to that. I never called you to that understanding. I never called you to this place. But since you're here, right? Since you're here, I'm going to break it off you. I'm going to agitate this root. I'm going to take this stuff off of you. And then I'm going to send you out to deal with somebody else who used to deal with this, right? I'm going to use this regardless. And that also comes back to a level of love, right? So, understanding to meet the Lord is to meet myself, especially if I am choosing to and I am allowing Him to grow, like I'm allowing myself to grow in His image, right? Okay, okay, all right. Uh, okay, I'm just reading y'all comments. I just thank y'all today because y'all really, I appreciate y'all in these comments today. Y'all don't even know. Okay, so we have a couple of different versions of love. I'm not going through all the versions. I'm telling you now, it's a lot of love. Okay, guys, it's a lot of love in the Bible. I'm going to encourage you to go look in the Bible. But there are some types of love that I am going to go through. And I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm going to give you these words. I may butcher them a little bit, but you can find them in the Bible. This is me telling you to go look in the Bible. Amen. All right. So, there's a couple of different types of love. We know agape, right? We know that is God's unconditional love, right? But then we also have a agapo, which is to be well pleased, to be contented at or with a thing, right? And we see this phrase of love for when in the scripture, for God so loved the world, this is what he used. Okay, guys. So just a little bit of translating, right? So instead of for God so loved the world, if we break it down, it literally is for God was so well pleased or contented with the world that he gave his only begotten son. Okay. Like just think about, just thank you. Yes, TK did give a solid breakdown. This is not me today. Okay, so like that is how the Lord sees us, as well pleased, right? That he would send his son to take human form and die. Okay, so then that's one version of it. And then we have ahab or ahab, which is humanly love, which includes family. All right, I brought up those two for a very good reason. And just those two for just this moment. I was sitting with Aiden this week, right? I was sitting with Aiden this week, and like my daughter is the bomb.com. Let me tell y'all, my child has really been trying to pull some things together and tackle some things in her life. And I have been on her this week. Like, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. And she'd be like, okay, mom. And I'd be like, listen, Take that tone somewhere else, ma'am. Take that tone. Ma'am, go that way, please. Take that tone somewhere else. Okay. And so for all of that, while I'm sitting here having this conversation with her, and I'm telling her, like, you're doing a great job, but I need this. You're doing awesome, but I need to see this, right? The Lord started to show me these two phrases in regards to even how I am parenting my daughter. It's like, I am so proud of her. Words cannot express how proud I am of my boo thing. Okay. She out here killing the homeschool game, killing some generational curses, learning herself, learning life. Like she's 10 and she has a skincare routine. Okay. Like my boo is doing a lot. And I don't think she always realizes it. Go back into that room and stop. And so because yes, Joan, she came out the room and she was like, I didn't realize I was doing all of this. Oh my mind. Okay, that's what she just did. But anyways, my boo doesn't realize how well she's doing. And at times she can be super critical of herself. And I like the Lord in that moment. I'm like, you don't even gotta be this hard on you. Like, I just need you to focus and do the work. And the Lord slapped me and said, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Like, you don't gotta be that hard on yourself. You just need to do the work. And I'm like, oh Lord, oh Lord. And he started to show me how, for many of his sons and daughters, that is how he feels, right? He's like, you out here doing all this other extra stuff that I did not call you to, that I did not place on your bucket list, baby. I just need you to buckle down and focus. And I'm like, but how can we focus using love and not be distracted by love? Because some of us, real talk, some of us get distracted by love, especially depending on the kind of love, right? Let it be a fine man with a beard that smell right. I used to get real distracted. Things like it wasn't that you would have to come and pray over your friend. Real talk. So how do we deal with love and not be distracted and not lose focus, or not be heartbroken or not be hurt? Like, how can we navigate this properly? How can we navigate this well? Right? Because sometimes the saints be out here struggling. Some of the struggle is because we open some doors we shouldn't have opened before the right time. Other reasons is because nobody ever showed us how to process these feelings and emotions in an appropriate manner. And now we sit now here, as Jen Trotter said on her thread earlier, the man of God say hi and we speaking in tongues. Okay, that was really like, that's me. I'm not gonna hold you. Well, it used to be me, praise the Lord. But how do we navigate this? How do we navigate what love looks like? And how do we navigate love in itself in every area of our life? Because it has to come back to us before it can pass through us, right? And the Lord simply told me, real talk. Joan, I get it though. I get it though. I respect it. I get it. The Lord really had to show me that it comes back to how we understand love. It comes back to how we see Him as a lover, but it's also how we treat ourselves in love, right? How we treat ourselves in love. Real talk. So when the Lord started to break all this stuff down to me, the Lord literally showed me that love is more than what we see, it's more than what we're taught. And so we don't use love at its full capacity. We're here in this like weird area where we use love sometimes, we don't use it other times, and we don't encompass love for ourselves in a very strong manner. Joan is cutting up in this chat and I'm here for it tonight. Let me just tell y'all, I'm here for it tonight. So the Lord started to show me that if you look at Galatians 5 and 22, the first fruit of the Spirit is love. And I wholeheartedly do not, I confidently can say that I truly believe that that is not a coincidence, that the first thing out the gate is love. Like God sent his son because of love. He created us because of love, right? He looked on us and said we were good because of love. So it's kind of like when you're reading the back of a drink or some chips to see what the first ingredient is, and that first ingredient is what's most in there. That's really how I see this. Like the fruit of the spirit is love, and above all of these, the greatest is love, right? I do not think it is a coincidence at all that love has to be the driving force for every other fruit. Love has to be the understanding that we see and perceive everything else through. Like it has to start at love. And it cannot start at love for another person, baby. Come here, come child, come close, come close. Let me talk to you real quick. Let me just say it, right? Because I really feel like I'm somebody's church mother just a little bit right now. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. And if Joan, if you say to me on Sunday, I'm gonna look at you. But I really just feel like I'm somebody church mother just a little bit right here, right? You can't love nobody else, boo thing, if you don't love yourself first. And if you haven't began to see yourself in a manner where you love your mind, you love your body the way that it is, you love your eyes the way that they are, the way the Lord made your hair, like it may be a little different, baby, but boo thing, it's still beautiful. And the Lord made you in your body, in your way, your mind functioning the way that it functions, and he loves it and it is good. If you can't say that about yourself standing in the mirror, you cannot be out here entertaining the saints. Please don't be out here entertaining the saints, because the level of confusion that will come from what you know is the love that you give yourself versus the love that somebody else will give you could either be culture shock or it could be toxic, covered up, because we love the Lord and the Lord loves us, but because love is from the Lord, the enemy gonna try and do something, so then you're out here being love bombed by a narcissist because they didn't get their life right, and you can't even see it because your understanding of love for yourself is not there. Right? Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop John. Thank you, John. You put the scripture in there. Thank you, John. So yes. So love is not just a word or an affection or a meaning. Love is a weapon, right? Because if we love the Lord with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength, yeah, baby. Love is a weapon. Love is a midwife, because from love will be birthed all your other fruits of your spirit, including the fruits that you need, such as long suffering and forbearance. You need them to persevere when the Lord does not take things from you that you want him to take. But it's got to be your love for him that makes you stick with him. Like, I'm gonna stick by him. That love is gonna make you stick by the Lord when you ask him to take something from you and he says no, endure. Right? Love is a resolver, because love covers a multitude of sin. So it's a resolvent, right? Love is pressure to grow, right? I don't know how many of y'all is on this chat. All y'all, pretty much everybody just raised their hand. Who has been through a season? And I was just talking to my PP about this like last week. Who has been through a season that felt very ghetto? It felt very, very ghetto. But you look back on it, right? When the saints say, I look back over my life and you see that growth, right? The love of the Lord continues to, there it go again. The love of the Lord continues to put pressure on us, and that pressure process continues to process us out, right? And as we're going through the process, yes, I do, PP, right now, as we're going through the process, as we're being processed out, and we kind of want to break up with the Lord, it's that love that's like, nah, just stay with me. Nah, just sit with me. I know it's tough. Like I see you, like I get it. I had to endure this, right? I had to do this. When I came down to the earth, I had to live this. So I get it. But I promise you, if you just let me do this work on the other side, you will be great. And it, why did my camera just do that? See, I bind this in the name of Jesus. You gonna just stop. Look at that. Because that's what I can do. Ha ha. See, ha ha. Ain't even messing with it. But it's like I can do like oh, I really just need you to just stick it out. I really just need you to stick with me. And we don't understand it and we don't get it and we don't see it. But love is also an agitator. It's going to agitate that ground so that when the process is processing all the things that need to leave us, right? Love is calculated. Love is so calculated because it's only the Lord's love that would allow him to have people like me and you and Moses and David and Abraham and all the other saints and Esther go through the lives that we had or the lives that they had, right? And allow them to be who they called them to be. Moses, if you had to stop and thought, like Moses, Moses went to the Lord and was like, what do you want me to be when I get older? And he was like, well, I'm gonna have Herod try and kill all the kids, and because of that, I'm gonna have your mama put you in a basket and send you down the river. And the man who's trying to kill you, his wife gonna find you, and then you gonna get raised by them. And the next thing you know, you gonna murder somebody for trying to stick up for the people that you didn't know was your people, and then you gonna run away, but then you gonna find your wife and her tribe, and then the Lord, I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna talk to you and I'm gonna tell you to go free your people, but you're not gonna believe in yourself, so I'm gonna have to send somebody with you. But when I send you, I'm gonna have you do some stuff that you ain't never seen yourself do before, and I'm gonna have that other person speak for you. And but your stepdaddy ain't gonna listen, so I'm gonna send you back. Right? You gonna come home? They gonna torture y'all a little bit, but you gonna be all right. That's what's the point. You gonna be all right. But now I'm gonna send you back again, and I'm gonna let you do some other stuff, and then on your behalf, because I'm a harden your stepdaddy heart. I'm gonna send some plagues on your behalf, and once all the plagues hit and the stepdaddy son die, then he gonna listen and realize who I am. So then after that, you gonna go and get your people, and then after you go and get your people, you gonna have to do some other stuff on the way with like the sea and stuff. But I'm still gonna be with you, and then after all of that, you're not even gonna see the land that I told you was yours. But my name will be praised. Okay, like if you really stop and think about how intricate that was. And if the Lord had told Moses, he'd probably be like, bruh, you mean my life? Like you mean me? That is how calculated the Lord's love is for us. Because it's only a God like our God that is going to sit there and be like, this Tuesday, we're going to allow this to happen. And Wednesday at 3:00, that's going to happen. But it's going to have this happen in 6 months. And then in 2 years, it's going to propel her this way. Like, only our God has so much love for us that our lives are not streamlined, but they're mountains and they're hills and they're obstacle courses that are all made for us to literally succeed and pass and to get better at. It's not for us to get overwhelmed, but we will. It's not for us to get anxious, but some of us will. It's not for us to be worried, but some of us will, until we get to understand that we have a calculated God that deals in love, and his love is so calculated that he will allow us to experience these highs and lows and these dips in the road, but it's all for our benefit, and we're always going to win. It's calculated for us, not against us. But many of us can't see that because the God that we see is not a God of love. We see a God of wrath, or we see a God of misunderstandings. We don't understand why X, Y, and Z happen, and I don't have an answer for you. But what I know is that our God is so calculated and he loves us so much that he is going to use everything in your life to make it come for his good and his glory, and you will succeed, and you will bypass it, and you will come out over top of it, and You will be better for it at the end. Do I like it? No. Is it great? No. Definitely 0 stars while I'm in it. But on the other side of it, I'll give it a 10. That's what I will do. Yeah. I see why God don't tell me, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, because I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't make it at all. If the Lord told me that my life was gonna look like this like 5 years ago, I would not have been like, put me in the game, coach. I would have been like, sit me on the sidelines. Thank you. I'll be the water boy. You ain't even gotta worry about me. Okay? But for the grace of God, he don't be telling us stuff. He really don't. Hey, Dr. Jesse. It's good to see you. So, right? So not only is his love calculated, but love is recompensing and compensating, right? All that stuff that we thought that we've missed out on all the years. The Lord is like, nah, like I created the obstacle course. I created the mountains and the hills. And you look to me for your help. And because of that, everything that you feel like you lost, I'm giving back to you better. And everything that you feel like somebody has stole from you or the canker worm has eaten, I'm giving back to you because that's how much love he has for us. So if that's what his love does for us, why wouldn't his love do that for ourselves within us? I'm gonna say that again. So if the Lord's love for us is recompensing and compensating for us, why wouldn't the love that we give to ourselves be the same thing? Why would it not show the same thing? Okay, I'm gonna let y'all think on that, right? So my next point is love gives fire, right? Love gives fire. It is because of how Elijah loved the Lord and he stood on his faith that the Lord was able to use him in such a bold manner to call down fire. But I don't mean actual fire when I say that. When I say that it like love gives fire, love gives intensity. His love gives heat. His love puts us in the fire to burn off everything that is not for us. His love continues to put us in the fire to refine us, right? So that we can continue to be who we need to be, right? On top of all of that, the most important part is that the love is not always easy, but in the end, it will birth ease, right? His love is not always easy, but in the end, it will birth ease. So, all of the love that the Lord has for us, right? All of this, the weapon, the midwife, the resolver, the pressure, the agitator, the calculator, like it is not easy to walk a life where the Lord has already told you people going to persecute you, people going to come against you just because of your faith. They're not going to like you because of they spirits that be on them and they see what's on you. They're not going to like you. Like a prophet in their own hometown is not honored. Like it's already a clear understanding. They didn't even really love Jesus. Come on now. They tried to tolerate him, and when he got too big and came against their gods, they took him out. So it's like we already know that we're living a life where persecution can happen, right? We know that. But we also know that through every fire, every level of persecution, every level of trial, every level of warfare, every level of understanding that we go through and we climb to, it creates an ease for us where the next time we see that thing coming around, it's not going to affect us the way that it did before. It's not going to come from us the way that it did before. If anything, for many of us, we've seen things try to come for us and we be like, okay, you can't even come in this room with me. So like I don't even know why you're trying it. Like going about your business. Whereas maybe in another previous season, we was, Lord, in the name of Jesus, I bind it up now in the name of Jesus. It's a different pull because the oil is different, but the ease that's created from it shows you your growth and it shows you how much your Lord loved you, child. Yeah. So yeah, so all of that. So I say all of that, my last love point is that his love is playing the long game. And that's what he calls many of us to play the long game. Some of us may think that because we've been dealing with stuff or we've been grappling with stuff for so long that it should just come to us immediately. That's me. I don't know about y'all, that's me. Especially if I'm super frustrated with how long this process is taking, because how long we're gonna be processed out, right? Because we're gonna process to not see nothing. And it can get really frustrating. But we have to remember that the Lord's love for us is playing the long game. We have to remember that even in like our short and simple understandings of his love, there is a more complex, confound understanding of love that we have not seen yet. And it could be as something as simple as the way that you're viewing this is not an attack, but it's love. And you need to shift. And once you shift and you're able to coast into that, you see things differently. But ultimately, the Lord plays the long game. He's playing the long game with us, right? So, all of this stuff the Lord has bashed me over the head with, and I do mean bashed, and it's fine. Um, what did this mean for me, right? And what could it possibly mean for you? Okay. I had to realize that I'm the variable, hmm and I'm the one that had to change. Me understanding that the way that people are showing up for me in my life right now, right, is not what I thought it was. Also shows me that my perceptions or my filters need to be removed regarding love in this case. Like, people are not out to get you, sis. People are not out to hurt you. There may be some delusional people out there, but for the most part, many of us are just trying to live our lives and love the Lord. And so the Lord had to show me that in many areas of my life, I had to die to what I knew what love was. Like, I had to understand that the unconditional love of God came in came into me and out of my eyes, but it had to help me reveal that my unconditional love to people had conditions on it, even when I didn't want it to. He had to show me that even when I thought I was out here doing it for the right reasons and with the right intent in my heart, because I could not properly receive love, it was tainted. And in some ways, it showed up in me not making strong enough boundaries. It showed up in me not asking the right questions. It showed up in me not showing up authentically. And so it would be this very interesting nuance looking at it from an outside lens now, where I would have some people who knew Allison really well. And I could sit there and have conversations with them and pull things out and be like, oh, what you're dealing with is this. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. And I could be in a group with them same people and like two new folks, and I wouldn't say a word. And I would leave there and be like, oh, they're struggling with this. I'm just going to pray for them. No, the Lord was like, Allison, I'm finna knock you upside your head. And he showed me that, like, the Allison that I am is so rich, right? Physically, financially, and just in verbiage. Amen. I'm just gonna call some things into existence while I'm on that point. But the Allison that I am is so rich, right? And the Allison that I am, and the people who actually experience that Allison leave better. And the people who don't get to experience me, in some cases, leave bound. So, how can I say that I am his image bearer if I can't show up every time like I need to? And so I had to learn how to depend on the Lord differently. I had to learn how to sit with him differently. I had to understand that even in my weakest points, he had to be my strength and that he would be my strength because I have that type of authority over my life and I have that understanding in my life, right? So for this new season and this new mantle that I have, right, he's birthing this heavy understanding of Lazarus, this heavy understanding of the dead things that should not be dead coming back to life, which could also be some misunderstandings that I need to rectify, but it's also a understanding of love that I've never known that had died before I could even know it coming back to life. And me seeing that in the newness of who I am, and because I can handle that, right? Because I'm equipped for that now. My mind can wrap itself around that and I can steward that well now. So he gave me some practical tools. I'm giving y'all these practical tools and now I'm gonna hop up off this chat, right? Whenever you're going through a season and you're feeling like, is it me? Like if you need to ask yourself that, is it me? Am I the problem? Or you find yourself in a place where something is bothering you and you don't necessarily have language for it, and you feel like it's not necessarily like you get the unction from the Lord to ask yourself these questions. Okay, the first question I always ask myself is why? Like, why did that thing bother me? And this could just apply to so many other different things, but we're going to use it in in this context for right now. What that looked like for me was, why did her checking up on me bother me? And when you say it out loud, it sounds real crazy, right? That's sometimes what you need to do to debunk the lie. Or why did her calling rub me wrong? And be honest about it. If the answer is it bothered me because I told her not to call me, that's a different subject. But if your answer is I really don't know why that bothered me, then you know it's time to do some introspective work. Sit with the Lord and see what he's trying to tell you with that. Because those feelings, like we know they're intel, we know they give us information, we know they help us navigate. Yeah, like we gotta get out of our heads and we got to ask why. If I'm going to pose this in a different manner. If it is a male or the opposite gender, and you find them a little cute, right? And they're coming to you and they're bothering you. You also need to ask yourself, why did that bother me when that cute man of God or woman of God came over and said, "Hey," right? Or why did the fact that he said, "Oh, you look nice today," rub me the wrong way? Because, baby, why did it? Okay, these are some questions. Now, if it rubbed you the wrong way because the man of God is married, that's different, or the woman of God is married, that's different. But it's also going to help us be able to receive better. Because I know if you're like Allison, when I asked myself those questions, my answer was, I don't know, because she called me. And the Lord was like, okay, but what else? And I'm like, I don't got nothing else. Like, she called me. He was like, but why did that bother you? And I really had to sit with that and sit with it. And finally, the Lord was like, you're not catching it. So it's because she was just trying to love you in a different manner and you just didn't see it. Open your eyes, boom. Right? But had I not had that conversation, had I not said it out loud and got outside of my head, outside of the place where we have 14,000 suggestive thoughts a day, right? If I had not have gotten out of my head and said it out loud, I may not have caught it. I may not have caught it. The other thing I'm going to tell you to do is let's do a little homework, See if how you show up for other people is how you choose to show up for yourself. If you are out here going to so and so's house, praying with so and so, on the phone for hours with so and so, then you're going to go meet up with so and so. You're going to have a lunch date with this one. You're going to do this one with this one. But you can't remember the last time you sat down and read a book that you liked. You can't remember the last time that you did something self-care wise. You're out here ministering to the whole world, saving people, delivering people, and you can't remember the last time you bought yourself a shirt or took yourself to your favorite pizza spot. If you don't do pizza, took yourself to your favorite non-gluten, non-dairy spot. There's some there are some balance issues, and we may not look for balance, but we may look for synergy, but we always have to take priority. How can we pour from an empty cup? That also means emotionally and physically and spiritually. We can't pour. And we never want our witness to be questionable because we put ourselves on the back burner, right? So that's what I have for the saints. I pray that we let the shift occur and we allow ourselves to really dig in deep to understand that the love that the Lord has for us is like, come on now, that we are well loved and that love is enough. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop saying it like that, but it's enough, guys. Okay. I had fun tonight, y'all. It was great to see y'all tonight. And I am going to check y'all on the next affirmation next Friday. Be in the spot because we got some stuff coming up. All right. Love y'all. Have a great night.